Today you can hear the whispering wind. It's not even whispering, it's more like roaring because the wind is like a storm. But if you could get a hint, a hint is enough for the wise, even if it's in Spanish or whatever. The inward perception of free will, fatalistic compulsion, anger, staying patient, being sated and hungry is the same as with the senses, which can tell yellow from red. So if I can tell Amarillo, oh God, it's not right. Is Amarillo yellow? What's yellow? Amarillo? And rojo is red? Grande is big from small, which is pequeño, and bitter is from dulce, from sweet. What's dulce is sweet? Musk from dung, and rough from soft, from suave. And through the touch, sense of touch, warm from cold. Zacolor from frio.
And you have different
cold is freedom.
different balance.
Burning from lukewarm. What's lukewarm?
But for me,
I don't know what
I'm small
lukewarm
guy.
is. And wet from dry is mojado from.
Yeah, light.
I don't know what dry
for me,
is.
I like it like light.
You don't either.
No, that's good.
And touching a wall as opposed to touching a tree. Therefore, he who denies inner consciousness denies the senses.
I didn't bring a bunch of balls.
Or rather, even more, for the former is more apparent than the latter, seeing as the senses can be blocked and stopped from perceiving, but it is not possible to block the way of experience of consciousness. Yeah, you can't block the experience of consciousness. So we have it, either spiritual or sensual. I put on some agua for the chocolate.
Solo para ti, Olga, no chocolate.
You making chocolate?
No, yo ahorita tomar chocolate.
Because there's a little water
Olga, no chocolate.
in the casino.
Olga, no chocolate.
This is a strange day. It's supposed to rain all weekend. I'm reading from line 3025 of book 5 of the masnavi. So I'm trying to experience consciousness of reading this book, and it's not blocked from the internet. So it's possible to get a hint of wisdom even in this podcast. Inner perceptions with the senses, uncle. Both of them run in the exact same channel. Do and don't. Both command and prohibition. Yeah, you can talk about both doing stuff and don't do this and do that. And they're both just perceptions. Don't and do and don't. Do and don't do this and do that. Do you have a don't and do list? She probably has one. So prohibitions. Prohibition are fine too, as our talk and exposition. Shall I do this or that on the next day? Yeah, well, that's kind of how they start the day, I guess. Shall I do this or that on the next day? Yeah, that's your main problem. You asking, what shall I do? I mean, you keep asking this even in the podcast. Yeah. Shall I do a podcast or shall I do meditation? Well, I do meditation first thing in the morning, so just to avoid this very question of what shall I do? So that's kind of, maybe comes after meditation, Because the first, you could ask, what shall I do today after you've meditated? Because if you don't ask first, what should I meditate? Because if you formed a habit of meditating and first thing in the morning and kind of resolved that philosophically a long time ago, yeah. Oh, you figured out that you're looking for a hint of wisdom to do meditation so you could actually get a hint. Yeah. Shall I do this or that on the next day?
He's crazy. He puts
Meditation in
weight.
Jesus? Jesus?
What's Jesus?
Try that.
Meditation in
You
Jesus.
collection.
Meditation on Jesus? Well, this one book I have, a book, this guy, John Main, he does Cristiano meditation.
Por eso.
I have a whole book, a libros on Cristiano meditation. Yeah. They even have it in Forest Hills, I think. Cristiano meditation. What's it? It's sort of like meditation is sort of like prayer where you don't move or something. It's advanced form of auras of prayer. Meditation. You do meditation?
Pero en Jesus.
On
Por
Jesus?
Jesus.
For Jesus? A meditation on Jesus, but is Jesus manifested in the forehead? Where's this Jesus guy? Jesus is here.
God.
The Bible says that
No.
Jesus is manifested in the forehead. No?
You need old man club.
Where's Jesus?
But it's very
Jesus
few that
está
are
en
any
el
good.
cielo, en el cielo.
He's up there in the
No aquí,
ceiling?
no aquí en la tierra.
Why isn't he inside you? Jesus is not in the terror. He's up there. Jesus is up, and she says not on the terror. So what shall I do? What shall I do? I guess I need a hint from Rumi. And what shall I do? Well, I figured out that usually what I'm doing is I have first thing is meditation, actually, and then I have some readings. My spiritual books, and then I have chocolate. But when's the chocolate coming? You always make the chocolate.
No, yo ordeno chocolate.
But what about for Davy?
Para ti nomás.
No desayuno away?
No, solo jugo.
Solo jugo? Oh, you making jugo?
Jugo, sí. Jugo de zanahoria con...
Yeah, we're on an extreme health kick, so what shall I do about eating? Well, what shall I eat is the other question. So, okay, comer. You comer jugo. You have nice jugo or juice. So, yeah, I don't know how much weight I have and what shall I do? What shall I do today? Or he's asking what shall I do tomorrow? Tomorrow you have Inglesia. She has church. I had a full week of tennis, so I actually played on, it was amazing, actually, a good week in September, New York. September is nice in New York, Amara. It's bueno. September? The climate was nice in New York. I love September in New York. Oh, you like? Yeah, so what shall I do? You should go to New York in September and not August and July. Okay. Shall I do this or that on the next day? Question mark. Well, tomorrow I'll do meditation, then I'll do probably exercise. Though I've had a total of 6 days of tennis, I don't know if I'll rest my arm on Sunday, but why don't you do alternative exercise like volleyball? No volleyball? Go to Manhattan. Manhattan was rough, though, with the parking costs and all that stuff. But, she wants to go to Philadelphia. We going to Philadelphia or Pennsylvania or Reading or Allentown? Or we're going to go maybe to Pennsylvania, like we plan us. Exploratory. Why are you exploring Philadelphia, Pennsylvania? Well, What shall I do on the next day? Well, are you saying philosophically, what shall I do the next day is the ultimate philosophical question? Oh, well, yeah, in a way, what you put into action, I suppose, is a higher level than what hints of wisdom you got from your spiritual books. Oh, okay. So you could read 100 books on meditation, but then you should, whether you do it the next day is what counts. Yeah. Shall I do this or that on the next day? Yeah, and what do you do after I know you do your elite sort of thing with the meditation in the morning, and then you listen to the broadcast of the master, but that's usually after you played 2 hours of tennis, and yeah. And then it's like, what shall I do after you have your lunch? Yeah, the real question is, what do you do after lunch? Well, shall I do this or that on the next day? This is proof of free will for you, I say. So I've just proven to you that there is free will. So all you people out there who think everything is predestined absolutely are wrong. So this is proof of free will for you, I say. I'm saying that I have a choice, and I can either watch TV and just become a brain-dead, boob-tube idiot, or become what do you become? Oh yeah, what happens to you? You become a dodo bird. Yeah, it makes you stupid when you watch TV, so. But you have free will. Oh. Yeah, I actually do evening meditation later on. I try to do it earlier and earlier instead of later. Like I could do it as early as 5 or something. If I had lunch at 2 or 3, it clears out my stomach after a couple hours, or 2 or 3 hours, maybe 6 or 5 or 6 or even 7. But not too late, really. I do it maybe sunset, depends on the time of year. But, this is proof of free will for you in this podcast. I'm trying to give proof that I'm doing this under my free will, and I'm free to do this podcast, at least in this country. Though all the bad comments I've said about Putin, I wouldn't be allowed to say it in Russia. And all the favoritism towards Sufism and stuff, I wouldn't be able to say it in Iran. Oh, what? No. So, yeah, I don't know which countries I'd be allowed to do this podcast. Probably not North Korea. I don't even know if the Chinese would allow it. So, Chinos will not allow gusto? No, they don't like it. Well, no. Where would it be allowed? No. Well, I have the proof of free will. This podcast is proof of free will for you, I say. As for regret you feel for bad deeds still, you have been rightly guided by your will. Yeah, and I've been pretty much rightly guided by my will. So when I decided I decide to do good deeds in the past. In my previous lives, I did good deeds, which resulted in me reincarnating as a man. And then because of my good karma, I got initiation and enlightenment and was the chosen one. Oh, you were chosen? Yeah, I was chosen by the master for initiation, so. You have been rightly guided by your will? then I chose to follow a perfect master. So, and then, really, you have been rightly guided by your will. Yeah, my free will guided me to do this podcast. And what?
¿Qué pasa con Ruby?
Huh? No, I didn't say Ruby. No deacon.
Raqueta. ¿Cómo es?
But I've been rightly guided and to the right books to read, and all the books I have are the right stuff. Oh, you have the right stuff. Yeah, I saw that movie, The Right Stuff. So I'm rightly guided, and therefore you have been rightly guided by your will. So, and I have a bueno sposo, so it was a good choice. Are you a bueno? Bueno sposo? The whole Quran is commanding and forbidding and threats. Who'd order stone to do its bidding? Would any wise man do this anyway? Yeah, would any wise man do this podcast? I'm not sure. I guess if you're not wise, you would do a podcast. So, would any wise man do this podcast? No. Yeah, well, I only have a hint of wisdom, enough to find this book and read it, and I think could be how many times I read the Masnavi? I know I read Nicholson's, and trying to think. It's either once already, at least, if not twice or 3 times. But would any wise man read the Masnavi once or twice or 3 times in its entirety? Well, this is at least the 2nd time, so I'm been rightly guided by Persian mysticism and by Urdu poets and by poetry to read the Masnavi again. Would any wise man do this anyway, to rage at bricks and rocks and then to say, I told you to do this, but you instead chose not to. You who are powerless and dead. How then can reason order wood and stone, or grab a cripple's image when it's known? It's not real saying, cripple, come and fight in war with broken limbs. This is not right. How can that one who made the stars and skies stupidly give orders and deny? You've said it can't be that God's impotent, but call him foolish and incompetent. And impotence isn't in the free will view. Stupidity is worse than of these two. The real Turk turns to visitors to say, come without dogs in your long cloaks today. Yeah, if you're coming to visit me, you should come. Don't bring your dog. Why, what do you have against dogs? Well, they could be distracting and stuff during meditation. Then enter safely from the other side. So my dog's mouth stays closed and not open wide. If you come to its door and choose not to, my dog, of course, will certainly bite you. My dog, of course, will certainly bite you. Huh. Yeah, I was reading about, what's the thing about, kids can be rough. The kids of the family can be rough and on the dog and pull its tail and jump on it. And Dale used to have this basset hound, and the kids would lay on the dog and pull the dog's tail. But if a stranger came, the dog, of course, would certainly bite you. Oh. Go the way slaves should go and do not mind, so this dog will be soft with you and kind. If you should bring a dog with you, watch out. It will grow wild in the tent and act out. If nobody but God possesses will, why do you then rage at the miscreants still? Why snarl in anger at your enemy? Why deem it his responsibility? Are you going to make chocolate?
Sí, sí, ya le vas a hacer
I deem it your responsibility, so I don't want to push her too hard or she'll snarl in anger at me. So why snarl in anger at your enemy? Why deem it his responsibility? If some roof timber falls on top of you and wounds you very seriously too, would you rage at the timber angrily or hate it like a bitter enemy? Yeah, it's hard to hate physical objects and be angry at a physical object. Like, I don't know, an example, yeah, there's some random things happen, like, I know there's been a lot of things happening, like they would they have a flood or earthquake in Morocco, and oh my God, the things that have been happening. Yeah, they had the fire in Hawaii, and oh my God. Would you rage at the timber angrily or hate it like a bitter emery? Why did it break my hand with such a blow? It has behaved now like a mortal foe. When you are absolving grown-ups from all blame, why discipline small children all the same? You speak about one who has just robbed you? Arrest him, chop his hand off, jail him too. Yeah, and I have this guy who robbed me, so I actually had a crime issue, and I was robbed at the ATM, and now I'm saying, arrest him, chop his hand off, and jail him too. So that's why I'm pushing the policeman to go and get the videotapes. He's got, the bank has the pellicular, or the videotape, and then he ran up charges on my credit card that he stole, and he ran it up at the Foot Locker, and the store manager of the Foot Locker said they'd be happy to give the movies, the videotapes to the policeman, and there's 2 sets of videotapes. So arrest him, chop his hands off, and jail him too. When somebody tries to bed your wife, you get intensely angry and will not forget. Wow. Yeah. If a flood sweeps your property away, will your brain let you hate it from the day? Yeah, I haven't gone out, and I've seen these houses that are on a floodplain, and they're almost romantically by the river. But I wonder if they'll get swept away. If a flood sweeps your property away, will your brain let you hate it from that day? Yeah, there's other people that'll invest in condos in Florida and stuff, and who knows when the hurricane's coming. So, if wind should blow your turban off, how can you show it your heart's angry then, good man? Anger in you proves that your will exists. All right, so I can prove that when I get angry, that's free will. So when I get angry at the traffic or whatever I get angry at, or the complications and the problems and the password problems and the phone and the car and you have free will. Your anger proves that there is free will. Okay. You've proven in this podcast you have the free will to express that there is free will. So you have so now that you've learned that there's free will, now you can use your free will. Yeah, I use it to my advantage. And I have free will when I do my tennis ball hits and the doubles tennis, and I have choices where I can either hit the ball right to the person and he just hits it back, or I can hit the ball somewhere where there isn't a person and hopefully not miss the tennis court, and it might make more sense. And I have free will to position myself logically on the tennis court. Yeah, you were saying you're concerned with where you hit it and positioning and your hits and positioning yourself on the court and trying to not hit it too hard and trying to hit it suave and hit it soft. And yeah, and you were saying you want to alternate between hitting it hard and hitting it soft. And are you using your free will on the tennis court? Huh. Anger in you proves that your will exists. Refutes excuses of determinist. Yeah, and so those people who think that just because we fell behind that they won the game, and they've been taught a lesson because we've come back and won. Wow. Yeah, they've got to learn some respect, They can't just conclude. Oh, I had the same problem. I started the week thinking that, I'm winning 80% of the time, and I'm really awesome, and I'm kicking ass. So I started the week thinking, I'm winning 8 out of 10 times. And then in the middle of the week, I had a string of errors and losses, and it fell to like 50% or something, and then, God, I was embarrassed, and my ego was bruised, and so I've been humiliated in a way. And I never did a post on the internet saying I'm winning 80% of the time, because right as I thought of doing that, I started losing. Refutes excuses of determinist. And if the rider strikes the camel's back, that rider is the one it will attack. It won't rage at his stick or wish it ill, which shows the camel too has choice and will. If you should stone a dog, it will attack. Similarly, you'll fall on your back. And if that dog should fetch the stone thrown too, it's angry with you, but it can't reach you. Animals' minds will see free will, feel shame. Human whose mind denies it all the same, it's clearly dawn. It's clearly dawn, but lust for one last bite means that the father shuts his eyes to bite. No, means that the faster shuts his eyes to light. Since all he longs for is to eat some bread, he'll claim it's not done yet and turn his head away from white. Okay, I'm coming. Greed hides the sun from eyes. That he should turn away is no surprise. Greed causes the third eye to not work. What? Well, Rumi, he says, away from light. Greed hides the sun from eyes. That he should turn away is no surprise. Oh, who turned away? Well, people turn away from this podcast. They have greed. I'm continuing on line 3060 of Book 5 of the Masnavi. I was explaining how that people have free will and I'm showing that predestination and belief in fate do not deny free will. So, you have predestination and free will. So you have a mix of them. But what's the mix? Yeah, what's the percentage mix? Is it 50-50, 75-25, 25-75? How you determine that? Are you a Calvinist? Well, I'm not. I have a friend named Calvin, but that has nothing to do with it. So, what's that, Amor? Is that my chocolate? Oh, that's so sweet, Amor. Thank you. No, it's not you or Dulce. August Dulce. This is not Dulce. Thank you, sweetheart. That's sweet. That's Dulce. She's actually sweet, but the chocolate isn't sweet. Oh. Well, is that by predestination or free will that you drink a chocolate? Well, it's a good question. I suppose it could be under free will, but what, were you predestined to have this wife, or is she free will? Did you choose her out of free will or predestination? Come on, give some answers. What kind of philosopher are you? What kind of mystic? You claim to be enlightened, but you don't seem to know anything. Yeah, well, I don't know the particulars sometimes, so. But I could say that it was 75% predestined and 25% free will. Yeah, but what part of it, which things were free will and which were predestined? Well, yeah, are you going to specify exactly what was in your memoirs? Well, that's a good. I specify that I would like to have the ability to know that. What? So you were working on the ability to know exactly. Well, yeah. Well, let's see what happened though. And what happened was there was a thief that happened, and I don't know if that's even predestined. Well, it could be karma, I guess. Yeah, well, that couldn't be free will. Yeah. A thief said to the police, to the chief of the police, what I did was just one of God's decrees. Yeah. Well, the thief could argue that he was predestined to rob me, but how is that going to help him in court? Yeah. The chief replied, what I am doing too is God's decree, dear friend, and just for you. Yeah, and the policeman could say that he's predestined to catch him, and then the judge would be predestined to charge him with theft, grand theft. Yeah, they actually stole the $1,000, $80, so it's grand theft. So he's predestined to get caught. What? Yeah, well, there's he made 2 videos of himself doing it. He did it at the bank and at the Foot Locker, so he's predestined to get caught. What? Were you predestined to get robbed? Well, we don't have to split hairs over the details here. Okay. If someone steals a radish from a stall, claiming it's God's decree, wise one, then all will see him get punched fiercely in the head. Yeah, and sometimes people react, and you steal a radish at the farmer's market, they might punch you in the head. So I don't know. I don't even steal a radish. So wait a minute. I've seen you to eat a grape. Yeah, well, I'm checking to see if they're any good. But you stole a grape. Well, your hair is looking beautiful. How come? It's muy hermoso. Well, it's a nice look. You're natural.
Buen pelo, mira.
Some people, they say your pelo is beautiful.
Muy largo.
It's almost blonde.
¿Tú quieres que Olga
Beauti-
pintar?
I like it more. I think women with gray hair, gray.
¿Tú quieres que Olga pintar o no?
I think it's, no, don't color it. I think it's beautiful, actually. I actually like gray hair on women because I like it.
Nice.
I like your hair.
Good cellular, good. Very
This
nice.
cellular? Yeah, the cellular seems more rapido. It's like faster. We're talking about the iPhone 15, iPhone 15 Pro. You are going to have an iPhone 15 Pro?
Sí,
Oh my
perfecto.
God. Why are you so high performance?
Ay, mi amor.
Oh.
Similar a David. Oh, como David.
She's been campaigning for
Olga, cuidar.
I suggested iPhone 15 regular and then
No, regular.
no regular mente.
No, el Pro.
She's a pro also, though. Well, if the husband is a pro, the wife, I guess, is a pro, or otherwise you would have not equal rights. What? Yeah, well, the women, they want to be paid as much as
Es
men.
mucho mejor, amor. Es mucho mejor.
Yeah, well, more you're going to like get Uber, and then you're going to do parking, and you're going to use the map and shopping.
What?
And yeah, you can have Uber on your cellular, and you'll have. But it's kind of cute the way I do get her Ubers and. You do parking?
Mucha comida para llevar.
What's the other thing we do with the phone?
Mucha comida para
Olga has to do parking.
Pero mucha comida para llevar.
Well, yeah, so the problem with getting something elegante is that then your wife wants something elegante. They believe in equal rights amendment in marriage. What? So you actually are going to submit to that theory? Yeah, well, in Zen Buddhism, like that, they say you should get your wife some pots so she can cook. Well, I actually did get her. I got a whole set of Cuisinart pots from BJ's for $160, and so she has brand new pots. And I did exactly what they said in Buddhism, in Zen Buddhism, in China, in Japan. So you did follow that? But that is so like, what is that? Macho, like saying that the woman only gets a bunch of pots so she can cook. Why don't you get her a new iPhone Pro instead of, yeah. Well, it's probably going to end up that way, so I don't know. I'm going to make her work with it. You can make her do all the work on her phone. Yeah. You're forcing labor on your wife to do the parking. Yeah, well, they have an app for parking, and you have apps for all these different things. And yeah, oh, so you do believe in slavery? Yeah, enslavement. I think life is just enslavement. Well, parking would be enslavement. To have to use an app, to be living in a place where you have to pay for parking is slavery. Yeah, so when are you moving away? Yeah. Well, yeah, that's my point, yeah. So I'm saying that both driving a car and parking and using an app and using the app to park and pay for parking and using a car is slavery. Yeah. Wow. That's an interesting concept. Well, when you submit to waiting at a stoplight, it's slavery. Because it's not exactly advanced spirituality. Okay. If someone steals a radish from this podcast, claiming it's God's decree, wise one, then all will see him get punched fiercely in the head. With this is God's will, put it back instead. Yeah, so put things back. Yeah, that raises the question whether one should eat a grape. Because if everyone ate a grape from the grapes in the supermarket, pretty soon if everyone took one, the grapes would all be stripped. There wouldn't be any left. Yeah. You admit to this crime? Yeah. So, yeah, you should watch yourself. Claiming, ding, 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 ding. I get with this is God's will, put it back instead, since this excuse is not acceptable by the greengrocer for a vegetable. You can't depend now on the same excuse when going near a dragon. It's no use. And stop making up excuses all the time, complaining and stuff.
Good try.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about the fact that they didn't deliver the New York Times yesterday in the rain. So I don't know if there's an app where you get a makeup, we claim you didn't get delivered. If you call or just use an app. Yeah, but you have it on the phone, and yeah, well, I haven't decided what to do. Maybe I should call them and get the makeup and complain. Wait, so karmically, yeah, I could do that, but it's not that importante. Oh, so this podcast is more important than the New York Times? Yeah. You can't depend now on the same excuse when going near a dragon. It's no use. And I can't use the fact that it's been raining all day and raining. It's actually 2 days of rain. It's unbelievable. It's yesterday, Saturday, the 23rd, it rained all day. And then the 24th, Sunday's gonna rain all day. It's been a rainy weekend. So I haven't been going near a dragon on the tennis court, and so I retired over the weekend from tennis. Yeah. Well, that's just because it rained. It's no use trying to play tennis on a rainy weekend. You risk your wealth, your wife, and your life as well with that excuse. Vile simpleton, heed well. Yeah, well, I risk my wealth if I buy 2 new iPhone 15 Pros, but I would risk my wife if I don't buy it for her, but if I don't have one, and I can't live. Oh, you can't live without it. No, that's why. I suppose a person should buy Apple stock because people can't live without it. What? You risk your wealth, your wife, your life as well without an iPhone, a brand new one, of course. With that excuse, vile simpleton, heed well. Someone could now leave you humiliated and then say, sorry, but his act was fated. Yeah, well, people humiliate me all the time, and just because I have to be humiliated because my ego is so outrageous. So that then they just say, oh, that was part of your fate. So, so many years has this been going on, and you would think after thousands and thousands of years of reincarnations, I might eventually evolve. Yeah, and you've been over these lessons on the ego and humility and simplicity and really getting rid of your ego and poems of annihilation and becoming humble so you can become a saint. Yeah, well, that's partly what we learn in these books. Yeah, so it's predestined. So this podcast is predestined. Someone could not leave you humiliated and then say sorry, but this act was fated. So you could complain all you want in your comments about this podcast, but this podcast was predestined. If you think God's degrees a good excuse, then teach us. Write a fatwa we can use. Yeah, you could write a fatwa condemning me for my ideas and my aggressive ideas on universalism and religion. And if let's say you're like a Orthodox Wahhabi Muslim and you don't like this podcast, then you should write a fatwa we can use. Then teach us, write a fatwa we can use. For I've so many things I lust for strongly in this podcast. Like, I've shown that I had a lust for Apple products and I bought an iPhone, and that's enough right there to write a fatwa. For I've so many things I lust for strongly, but fear of God has tied my hands to stop me. Do me a favor, teach me the excuse, untie my hands and feet so I can choose. Yeah, I've asked God to try to temper my excuses and try to help me choose better. Through your own will, you've chosen such a skill, declaring I have thoughts and free will. But you have to remember that I have free will, so I could have thoughts, and they don't have to be just strictly according to Sarah law in the Quran. So if I have free will, it's natural for me to violate, natural for people to violate Sarah law. So you have natural violations going on? Yeah, well, yeah, I could violate them, so I'm always violating them in thoughts. So. Oh, really? They should do a fatwa, maybe. So I've so many things I lust for strongly, but fear of God has tied my hands to stop me. Do me a favor, teach me the excuse, untie my hands and feet so I can choose. Through your own will, you've chosen such a skill, declaring I have thoughts and free will. If not, why did you choose this one skill then, among those possible, O chief of men? Yeah, I chose to have these skills like I've trained for 4 or 5 years to have the skill to play tennis at a fairly good level so I can compete and not miss the ball all the time and have fun with my friends and not be such a loser. Oh, okay. And I have developed the skill of playing the piano so I can enrich myself in a language other than words. Really? Oh yeah, so it's like a language itself, also music, so. If not, why did you choose this one skill then among those possible? O chief of men. Well, the one skill you can choose is to learn how to meditate, so that's another good one, so. That's done by free will. When it's the passions and the self's turn, then you have the will of many 100 men. And if a friend takes something small from you, the will to fight comes in your soul anew. Yeah, and oftentimes I get angry, like just from the crimes that have been committed to me in the past, and just a little thought can disrupt your meditation. What? Yeah, I still have these problems. I'm a long way from becoming a saint. What? I thought you were going to be arriving at sainthood when you turn 70, but you still have these setbacks. You even claimed you were winning 80% of the time in tennis, but then in actual practice it was only like 50%. And what the hell's going on here? Okay. And if a friend takes something small from you, the will to fight comes in your soul anew. Yeah, well, what happened is when those guys, they won and beat us in the doubles tennis game, we kind of renewed our fight for revenge. Actually, when we lost, me and Augusto lost to Pepe and Tony, and then we renewed our will to fight and get revenge. So we took revenge, and we then actually beat them in a tiebreaker. So you can renew your fight when these things happen. Oh, okay. When it's the turn for thanks for God's gifts, though you have no will. Yeah, well, I've been giving more and more often thanks for God's gifts and trying to make that my free will. What? You're making gratitude to God essentially your free will, yeah. Well, that was even recommended in the Master's talk. So, if it's the turn for thanks for God's gifts through you have no free will, you are less than stones men throw. This will be hell's excuse when you're abused. Please note that when I burn you, it's excused. No one thinks this excuses you today, and it won't keep the Punisher away. This is the way the world works and shows you the way the next world will be functioning too. Oh no, I have to worry about the next world. Yeah, it's all integrated, I suppose, the functioning of the different planes. So the Earth and an astral plane and astral supercausal plane and the causal plane and the supercausal plane are functioning and integration and the execution of predestination and free will at the same time. Oh, that's how it's working? Yeah. Well, there's karma, basically. So, yeah, that's why it bothers me when I get so annoyed when some small thing happens to me. The friend takes something small from me. Yeah, so... Well, he's only taken small things, so why are you complaining if he only took a small thing? And that was your karma. Yeah. Well, I'm tired of having karma. Well, why don't you just...
Nice. No, because here, you see, look, it's my hand.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too much.
It's
bigger.
fat.
Bigger, yeah, you see.
Oh, it's fat.
Yeah, here's.
Oh, that's the only other thing. It's
Yeah,
fat.
that's, look,
yeah.
look.
It's a problem.
Yeah,
Wow.
look. Yeah, look, here, you see. Closer,
Then
closer.
you
The
need a
small.
different racket. Huh?
Small.
It's
There.
hard to find you.
You want to drink? $10. Smart. Look.
Yeah, a little.
Unlimited. Organic. Look. You
Oh,
have?
Yeah,
Try.
I have.
Try. That's very good. Organic.
Where is it?
Cheers. Vitamin
Where is
50%.
that?
Vitamin C. 300%.
Where is
Vitamin
my
C.
cup?
Look. There.
I have no cup.
Vitamin C. You have?
I don't have a cup. Oh, I forgot my tea. No cup.
No, take it. Take it. You car here?
I don't have cup. What happened? I have no drink. I get organized.
No, take drink. No, at home. No, take like this. Okay, come on. Try. Taste. Try.
It's hard to drink it. I put it in here. Here.
No, that's no crazy.
Wow.
Okay, let's try that. That's
Probably has tennis ball. I drink tennis. I drink tennis.
no, it's okay. There.
Cheers!
No problem.
Cheers! To tennis.
Yeah. Don't worry, you survive.
I eat plastic all the time. Plastic.
Good.
I like plastic in my drink.
Plastic. Yeah.
And
Right.
tennis
No,
ball.
that's good. That's good. You survive. No problem. It's
Plastic with tennis ball.
Your immune system fight. He fight.
Cheers.
People who so care about clean,
Clean.
sick.
They care about
Yeah,
clean.
and look, Chinese mask.
You need fasting or something. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, mama.